But then I found out that it was a real dress. Kim Kardashian was inside. How many of her own hats is the size of her hips? Hey guys, so normally all those Met Galas, I'm not super interested in that, but I'm a big fan of Marilyn Monroe since I was a kid, and I had a huge collection of her photos at that time. I read several biographies of her. I was just admiring her aesthetic, and recently I just saw the picture of Kim Kardashian wearing that similar to Marilyn Monroe dress, but I just saw it from the distance and I was like, interesting, like they did the replica, which is nice, and she looks good. She's very polished, glamorous. Of course I can understand her because Marilyn was incredible in this dress, but then I found out that it was a real dress. And probably it's not very good, but I felt offended personally, which is funny. Maybe not even offended, but it felt like that dress is not just Marilyn's dress anymore because Kim Kardashian was inside. Many people are arguing. I also made a post on my YouTube. I just wanted to find out first your opinion before I make a video about this. And many of you actually have pretty much same opinion about this. First of all, about this dress, this was a very scandalous dress, right? In 1962, Marilyn was wearing this, singing Happy Birthday, Mr. President for JFK. And that was in Madison Square Garden in New York. That was very sheer, form-fitting dress with dazzling beads, and it was about 2,500 stones on the dress. And they say that also they had to sew the dress on Marilyn, and also she was naked inside. The interesting thing is if you remember that video, she was running in this dress, making very small steps. That was just so narrow down there. So it is the most expensive dress of all times. Also, this dress is very fragile, over 60 years old. And then let's talk about the body type first. Kim Kardashian, I personally think she's a soft natural type. Marilyn is romantic. Marilyn is slightly narrower still. She's also soft, she's also smallish, but she's narrower. Kim Kardashian has bigger bones. Also, Marilyn has a little bit bigger head compared to her body. This is why her body looks slightly smaller, just in general, proportionately. Also, Marilyn has narrower and more sloped shoulders, therefore she does look softer. Kim has more square shoulders, wider shoulders, and has more pronounced musculature. Also, you can see proportionally on the size of her head, especially that she didn't do her hair puffy like Marilyn, so she made it sleek, so it basically was the size of her head. She also injected her butt. If you just see Kim's proportion, you can see how many of her own heads is the size of her hips. So we can see that, right? So the hips are very much wider, and her whole body, her whole figure, and just the bone structure itself is pretty wide. It's wider than Marilyn's. Compared to this lady, for example, Dakota Johnson, she's more like a classic type of soft classic. She has more moderate proportions, so you can see how many heads she has on her hips, right? And when you're wearing everything extremely sleek, like a dress and like your hair, of course it exaggerates. Some people say that she doesn't look good, she looks too wide in it. I would not necessarily say she looks bad in this dress. I think she is so polished, and I like women who have figure. I like women who have big bodies. It just depends on your style, how you feel yourself, how you present yourself. But of course, women with a wider bone structure, they have to be aware about if they're wearing everything extremely sleek, then their bone structure is gonna look wider than it is sometimes. And they can look slightly more disproportionate than they actually are. That just can happen. That's okay. Like when they're making their hair very sleek, when their dress is super sleek, this is what's happening. They look slightly fuller, especially on top, and they just look wider. It's just the physical law. But it doesn't mean that it shouldn't be like that, right? It's just you have to be aware about what's happening and what kind of contrasting can create. And if you don't want to exaggerate your width, that you just don't go for it and you just dress in something more relaxed and make your hair slightly more relaxed. It can be slightly more relaxed. It shouldn't be like everything is now hanging on you and relaxed. No, even a slightly relaxed thing can do its job. Many costume historians, they are upset by the fact that clothes itself is very old, the fabric is pretty old, and it's a fragile piece. Body produces oils, natural oils, body produces natural moisture, also is ruining the fabric. But it's not even that. Some people have opposite opinion. They say it's not a big deal. Why everybody's doing it such a big deal? Okay, she wore this. Probably they shouldn't let her wear this, but it's not such a big deal. But I myself, I would say my opinion, and I think it's absolutely not okay what the museum did, that they let her do this, because this is the theme of the ball, and of course you can wear a replica of the dress. That's fine. If you want to go for Marilyn look, go for it. That's great. This dress looks great on you. You're very glamorous, you're very polished, the whole figure, very sexy, very interesting. That's fine, but then when you're wearing a real dress just for 5 minutes, it looks a little bit more like a hype. Of course they're creating this to attract attention. Of course they're creating this so people would discuss it and talk about this, and this is how they found raising money. This is how marketing works, right? So you are just attracting a lot of attention, especially polarized opinions, and when people arguing so much, this is when you get the most out of it. So probably this is one of the things that Kim is normally doing. We know her for doing this from year to year. She had many different situations where people were discussing this or that look, and her looks were provocative. She likes to be provocative. I actually don't know what's her personal logic behind that. Like, she's sitting home drinking tea and talking to her like friends and family, and she's like, yeah, everybody's talking about that dress, we attracted so much attention, that's great, thank you for letting me wear this, I feel so special, I feel amazing. I don't know how she justifies herself and how she justifies the whole situation. Also, I'm curious about what museum expected, what kind of opinion from people. Did they expect that people would be so overwhelmed by this? I'm pretty curious about what they personally think, but I also see how they try to explain themselves, how they try to justify themselves that they really took good care of that dress. I'm not buying it just because Marilyn Monroe was naked when she was wearing this dress. And this is a certain significance that is connected to that day when she was singing this song for a president. That was the year when she passed away. 19th of May, I think, when she sang this song, and then 4th of August, she was gone. So it was just 3 months before her death. She didn't have any underwear, anything shaping. So that was kind of that very thin fabric with the stones on her naked body. And another important thing, that the tone of the dress was exactly the tone of her skin. So she would look like she's naked, but she's full of that sparkle. And here I found a very rare colored footage, very short video, but when she's taking off the fur, you can slightly see the color of the dress. There's no contrast with her skin. We just kind of don't see the dress. Kim has darker skin. She's much more tan skin. So on her, that dress just looks lighter. I think the tone itself looks amazing on her, on Kim. It suits her, but it has nothing to do with the significance of the whole situation. And now, when I think about Marilyn Monroe dress, my idea about this dress changed. I know that Kim was inside. Very well done, but still, they said they were very careful. They were using gloves, putting this dress on her, but then it's even worse for my opinion, because you don't feel anymore the stretch of the fabric, the way you manipulate it. So it's much more chance for damage for a dress. She could hardly walk up the stairs. I have no idea how the museum let this happen, and I've heard different viewpoints. Some people say that's fine, that's normal. So let me know, guys, if you changed your opinion about this, or what do you think just in general. And I'll see you soon. Bye bye.